thank you so much for joining me. We should have a few more people come on as well as we go along. I've had quite a few people say, oh, I don't know if I can make it to 7, but I'll be there at some point. So, which will be awesome. Hello, hello. I can see you there, beautiful, gorgeous Vanessa. Let me just, there we go. Awesome. So, what I wanted to speak about tonight, and I'm so glad that you're on, Vanessa, because I remember actually saying this to you guys as a group. So Vanessa's in our current 90-day challenge. So the secret that I want to share with you guys is something that I usually don't share with, say, the 90-day challenge group until a couple of weeks in. So Vanessa and anyone else that jumps on that's done the 90-day challenge, you might remember me saying, I don't really say this at the start, but really it's just all about mindset. And literally the 7 stages of writing a book, it's all about mindset, which is interesting because like really isn't everything just about mindset. So Vanessa, do you remember me saying that? Can't hear you, by the way, I can only see you, so rock on. Just So the reason I'm actually doing this is I had a mentoring session this morning with my mentor, strangely enough. And one of the things that came up with my mentor is I was getting frustrated. And the reason was because I kept saying to him, like, this whole thing is so about mindset. And the trouble that I have is that mindset stops us from doing anything, right? It is the only thing that stops us. Yes, money, time, blah, 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 whatever it may be, but it all really comes back to mindset. And literally, and this is what I said to him, and this is when he kind of stopped me and went, can you just listen to yourself for a moment? Because I said to him, it doesn't even matter if you want to write your book or not. It doesn't matter. Wanting to write your book or not write a book has nothing to do whether you will or not. And it's so funny because when we started, I thought it did. And even with the current group, I've probably said it. And in one of the trainings, I've probably got it in there that the most important thing is make the decision, decide that you're going to do it. But the fact is, it's actually not enough. Straight, I thought that it was, but I've only realized now that that is not enough. You can, and I hear, this is something we would have all heard. If you have a big enough why, the how takes care of itself. We've all heard that. I'm pretty sure I know that everyone on here's heard that. And hey, Christy. And so we've heard that said, but what's the line? When is the why big enough? That's not something I've ever heard asked. And I think that's a really important question is, how is the why big enough? When is the why big enough? Why do you need to be big enough? And for me, this is what was happening. I didn't have my why. I didn't have my big enough why. So I was beating myself up thinking that there was something wrong with me because I didn't have this big, hairy, audacious why that I'm supposed to have. And it was like, well, if I don't have my why, I can't be successful. And so it was mindset. It was completely mindset of buying into this belief, which I get. Like, I understand the concept of, have your why and how it take care of itself. I totally get that. But what I've come to realize now is that most people actually don't know their real why, as in most people, and I know I did this for the longest time, and I literally just posted an article about this. I feel that a lot of people, and I did this, take on the why of everyone else, take on the expected why. And we tell ourselves it's ours, but if it doesn't feel good, it's really not. And so now I've taken the path of, if it feels good, I go that way. So literally the whole game around mindset in regard to writing has just taken on this whole new level for me, because I've come to the realization that why you want to do the book doesn't matter as much as, are you willing to get out of your own freaking way to do it? If you want to write a book, fantastic. 50% of people do. Most people don't. And this is why, because they have the mindset that we've learned in school that you're not good enough, you don't know how, all these things. Creativity is killed primarily in the school system. I say that being very aware, but it is. They've actually done studies to show that children lose their creativity through school, at least the way it used to be. Like, I don't know if the study was done now, if it would be any different, because I know schools are getting a lot more open and a lot more, they're bringing a lot more, like Grace, you know, they're bringing a lot more of this element in, and they're becoming a lot more open to the fact that kids kind of know more than us as adults. Kids know everything. I don't think school, I've heard this said before, and actually I think it's a really good point. I don't think school is about kids going there to learn. I think the teachers are drawn there to learn from the kids, because the kids already know everything. Seriously, kids are great. Get out of their way and we're all good. And I think that's what the mindset about writing is about as well, is getting out of your own way in regard to writing. So this is where I was getting frustrated. It was like, it was actually really starting to frustrate me. And I was saying this to my mentor, that every single person that's gone through the program, hey Deb, every single person that's gone through the Right Now program, gone through the 90-day challenge, has had personal transformational growth just from going through the process. And my mentor highlighted today to me, he's gone, so do you coach? I'm like, nah, I haven't had a coaching client in a year. Like, I had one and I realized it wasn't my thing. And he's like, you realize that's what you do though? I'm like, I mentor, and he's like, no, the main thing that you deal with is the mindset. You're a coach. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So I was like, oh crap. And it's actually allowed me to step back and look at what I do and look at what I share, and kind of reframe how I approach and how I guess I explain what I do as well, which is really damn interesting. So realistically, the big secret is that I'm a coach and didn't even realize it. Blew myself away. I'm like, really? Oh crap, I am too. But the important thing about it is that I think there's so much out there with implementation. So write a book, here's how you do it. Most of it doesn't deal with the mindset though. So I feel like I attract people that are stuck in that mindset. I really do, because they need that additional thing. They don't need a marketing person saying, hey, just copy all these other books and put them together and sell that. It works, sure. But the people that I attract want to tell their story, just like Vanessa. And they want to share their message, and they want to do something a little deeper. So I've had a really, really interesting couple of days of reconnecting with what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and having a really great level of support around me as well. So that's why I've jumped on and done this. I've actually wanted to share and kind of stop holding back that it's all about mindset, and just say straight out, that's actually all it's about. It's literally, there is nothing else. It is mindset. The how is taken care of, yes, but it's actually not the why that allows the how to be taken care of. It's actually the allowing of, it's the allowing of self-exploration, because that's what writing really gives you. That was big, actually. Vanessa, do you want to jump on? I'd love to have a chat with you, and because I know that you've gone through this process. Give me a
hi.
Yeah. Cool, excellent. Oh, there we go. You looked after yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I know that, and I could see some of this like connecting with you as I was talking about it. You're like, yep. So I know that for you, and we'll only share as much as you want,
Of course,
because it's a mindset journey.
yes.
I know for yourself, your mindset has definitely shifted over the time that we've worked together. So my first question for you is, because here's the thing, you have to have a certain level of mindset to step into saying yes and doing it in the first place. So
Yes,
I'd
of
love to
course.
know what you can share with everyone else and what you can share with me about that first moment. What was it that took you from going to okay? Because really the only difference was, yes, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you were saying earlier too really resonated with me about the why. Like, I mean, you know my why. I have a huge why, but it's funny how that doesn't necessarily get you across the line all the time.
Yeah.
Like I always come back to my why and go, yeah, I know why I'm doing it. I want to help women. I want to do this. I want to empower. But then I still go, oh, I still need to write, and I need to,
still got your own
you know,
shit to deal with.
Exactly. And I'm a perfectionist to heart. So I'm like,
Wait,
everything has...
Do I need to reframe you on that?
Probably.
Do I need to? Come on, we've had many talks about perfectionism. No one ever who's a perfectionist has ever published, and you're going to be published in the next couple of weeks.
That's true. I've let go a lot of that. But you're right. That comes down to like me getting over myself and going, you know what, just put words on paper, just follow the program, just follow the steps, reflect on my why occasionally, get over myself, but just do the work. And I think what I've learned about myself over these sort of last, 72 days, I can't even remember how many we're up to.
I think we're at day 73.
Yeah,
72 or 73. Gosh, I have to check. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I probably learned about myself over this time is that it is possible. And I think when you and I met, you know, I something really resonated about your program, and writing a book really excited me, and I want to get my message out, and I want it to mean something and not being attached to the outcome. But I think not being too attached to the outcome. I'm so attached to the outcome. No, I'm not.
If you were, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Well, exactly. But you know, that I think if you just one step at a time and just keep going at one day at a time, like there's been, I mean, you know, my journey, I'm ahead some days, and then I'm like a week behind, and then I'm ahead again. I'm still a week. And I was like, you know, you're always clawing your way, but if you just keep going, you will get there. And I mean, I you know, I can't believe it. I've got a book. Like,
where are you right now? Where are you at? Because this is kind of an exciting thing. I know where you're at. Share where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little behind again, but overall,
I'm going to reframe that in a moment too.
Yes, I shouldn't say but and.
Not that part.
No, yeah, okay. Like first draft is done. I've now gone through 2 different editors. I've found my 3rd editor. That's been a fun journey too, but I'm not, you know what, not panicking, because I've written a book. I still have 20,000 words on paper. It may be jumbled up somewhere in there, but you know, I was rereading it a little bit yesterday before I sent it to my 3rd editor, and I was like, you know, it's not perfect, but that's okay.
It never will be.
And the message, it'll never be perfect. And then how long do you spend fixing it? Because it's never going to be that. So you're just going to have to,
like, for some people,
like, let it go at some stage. And I don't know, especially the last 2 weeks, I've really let it go. Really let it go. I haven't looked at it for the last week and a half. I reread a little bit of it yesterday before I sent it to my 3rd editor. And I was like, yeah, it's messy, but you know what? You still wrote a book.
Exactly. Oh my God. And so, do I even have something? Yes, I do have something. Do I have books near me? I always have books near me. God, whatever room I'm in, I've got books all around the place. So how cool is it to know that very soon you'll be that?
And I think that's the moment it will feel realer to me. Like I printed it out today, and it's 126 pages, and you know, sent it because my editor.
Is that in the 5x8 trim?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. My editor wanted it in paper format, not in computer format, which is fine. But I think when it's like, oh, pretty, and then the little book, and I've done my cover and my name's on it, and I think that's when it will feel real. But like, it's only around the corner. Like, it's another 2, 3, 4 weeks away.
Exactly.
But I think,
you know, launch in November.
I know, crazy. But I think going back to your mindset, I think it's just following the process, and it's just taking it one day at a time. For me, that's.
And I like that. I like that you said that. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And I reminded you a couple of times because it's really funny. I'm going to share this. I hope it's okay.
Yes, of course. Anything's okay.
So, so I know the other day you asked me something, and you were at like day 65 or whatever, and you asked me something. I said, you skipped a day, didn't you? You're like, what? And that was the day 10, 11 when it was the when we did the trim.
Oh yes.
And you're like, oh yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, I was still working out of a Word format. That's right.
Yes.
And you were like, did you miss day 10? Oh yeah, I was meant to put it in my trim. Oops, it's in my trim now.
Exactly. That's why I kind of asked, is that in the 5x8 trim? Yep, sweet.
Yeah, it is in the 5x8.
So I love that you kind of said that it's about following the steps, because if you miss one step, yeah, sure, you can go back, but it makes it a lot easier when you actually do it step by step.
Yeah.
But I do want to call you on something that you said.
Yes.
Which is, you said you were behind.
Yes.
And I may or may not have said this in the group before, and if I haven't, I'm going to say it to you right now. So we're at day 72, and you're pretty much on track, right? We can safely say you're pretty much at day 72, about to go into final draft.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. I'd say so. Yep.
So let's just say you're at day 70. Let's just say you're at day 70.
Yep.
So you're not 2 days behind. You're 70 days in. So you were never behind.
Yep.
The moment you did day one, you were never behind. Never.
Yeah, it's actually funny you said that, because I do say this quite often, don't I? I'm behind. But I don't. I it's funny because as the words sort of float out my mouth, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really behind, because once I get my book back from my editor, I'll read it one more time, and you know what? It's done. Like, I'm not going to fuss over it anymore, because I actually want to finish it now. Like, I don't want to use the words I'm over it, but I want.
No, it's okay. I get that. I do this every 90 days.
I'm ready.
I get that.
Well, it's like a pregnancy, 9 months. I'm like, I'm super excited about the pregnancy. I love the tingles, but you know what? I want the baby now. I want to be on the other side.
When it turns up, tears and joy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, now I've got to like nurture you.
That's right. Now I want to share you around. I want other people to hold you. I want other people to, smell you like I do.
Show everyone your baby pictures.
That's right. Like, I enjoyed the pregnancy stage, but really, I want the baby now. Like, I'm good to let it go. I'm ready. I'm so looking forward to the book launch, and and going back to before, it's not perfect, and I would have said 72 days ago that I was definitely someone who is perfectionistic and loves everything a certain way in control. And I must say
that on our first conversation, and I remember saying to you, and I would have the notes over in a pile over here. Because I'm certainly not a perfectionist. I would have said to you, you can't bring that.
No. And I've learned definitely to relinquish that control just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit every single day. Like, and I think for me too, and this, like, how much was I obsessing over numbers? Like, I had to get 1,000 words. And oh my god, I had to do 1,000 words. I can't breathe. And it's like, okay, just do 200. That's okay. And it's funny, like that whole writing section about the program, like it took almost half that section for me to get over myself in the numbers.
Yeah.
And then it just flowed, and it took longer than what I thought it would, but that's okay too.
Well, Yan, who's also in the for everyone else who's also in the 90-day challenge at the moment, he's in the same situation. So we've had sessions together. We've remapped the remainder of the 90 days so that he can still get his book published in the 90 days. But he was very resistant for a very long time. Yeah. And now, I don't know if you've seen him posting the challenge group. Yeah, he's like pumping out 1,500.
Like, there you go.
Whoa! So he's catching. He's doing the 90 days. That's his target. He will get there with us. But he's not behind because he's so far ahead of where
Yes.
he would have been if he hadn't done it.
Yes, very true. Very true.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all you guys, oh gosh, it's going to be, I can't wait for November. It's going to be so cool. Now we've got some things coming up. So let me see if I've got any questions here. Congratulations for your perseverance. Well done. That's from Grace.
Oh, thanks, Grace.
And Chrissy says 100% fine to be over the book you're writing. Yes. Yeah. Chrissy knows all about that.
Yes. Thanks, Christy.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I've been,
sorry.
You go. No, I was just going to say, and, I've, a part of the challenge too is about telling people you're writing a book. Like,
yes, good.
And I was so resistant at that at the beginning. And then I just kind of just leaped into courage and just did it. And now I'm getting people going, how's your book going? How's your book going? How's your book going? And I'm like, oh my God. Yep.
And
it's nearly here.
I believe you've pre-sold a couple of copies as well.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I belong to a BNI.
Yeah.
And I've got, yesterday I went to BNI and I had like 6 referrals and they're all people who want a copy of my book.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm like, my book's like in a quarter of the room now, hopefully.
Oh
very soon. So I was like,
so are you, and this is, I'm just going to step in mentoring at the moment.
Yeah.
So are you getting orders and taking money so that you can then use that to purchase the books for the launch?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In my 30 seconds in BNI, I talk about obviously like boundaries, for instance. I'll say, boundaries, blah, 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 blah. This is a chapter in my upcoming book. Please pre-order it on my website.
Great chapter, by the way.
The one that you've read. So then, I
want to share that actually for everyone as well. So I read that chapter of your book and I remember I stopped probably 3 or 4 times because I was actually having transformational moments. I was like, oh my God, that's freaking awesome. And I think that's the beauty of it. The perfectionism would have stopped you from writing anything, but the rawness of just getting in there and getting it done means that you're able to give me something. Basically, in that moment, what you gave me changed everything that I would do moving forward as well. So everything's affecting the universe at all times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So thank you for that, by the way. Yeah. That was an amazing day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was really great.
So does anyone have any questions they would like to ask Vanessa? While I'm waiting to see if any questions do come up, I'm going to ask you. So obviously, kind of worked through, well, we had a conversation on the phone before you started, and I think we worked through a couple of little things that might have gotten your way and set you on a kind of really great pathway.
Yep.
And you fought and you resisted, and I called you on it, and it was really great fun. I've had so much fun with you, actually. It's been an amazing journey.
It has been incredible.
At this stage where you're in editing, like your book's done. It's about done. What has shifted for you in your mindset over the journey? Like what can you take from this into the rest of the world, into everything else that you do, not just writing?
Yeah, good question. I think I didn't realize how capable I was. I think, and I reflect back, and I think I even had this conversation with you. If I just focused this much at school,
you did say that. Yeah.
I would have got a degree in something. I don't know, like I shit at school, but I just knocked out 20,000 words. Like it's the most writing I've probably ever done in my whole entire life. Like, so my inner confidence as a person has changed.
Awesome.
I think I'm a lot more calmer, if that makes sense, about doing things. Like it's hard to explain. I've found a greater inner peace within myself. I feel, this sense of accomplishment that I've done, it's almost brought me this inner peace also too. Like, and I think when we first met too, the challenges that we face, we all talk about, time and money. And I have a 3-year-old daughter. Yes. And that was one of my things, because you said to me, what would stop you from doing this book? And I said, well, my daughter would, because she comes close first with me, which is the title of my book, Me First. But she would stop me. But you know what? I still made it a priority. So I think another great thing that I've learned is that if you want to succeed at something, you just have to make it a priority. You just have to make it a priority.
And
like every night I put it down at 8 o'clock and wrote, you know.
Yeah. And I love that we actually pre-organized some ways around that too. So I remember that I think in our first mentoring session, because in the first mentoring session you're already I'm behind, you weren't, but there was always that, and it was a lot of, you know, finding the time and whatnot. And I remember that we actually went through, okay, well, if this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? And we kind of removed all the excuses until you had it all mapped out and planned out as to what you would do under different circumstances. And on that weekend, if you don't do anything, it's okay. And that was the other thing, beating yourself up about it. That
was huge, because I think, and we've had this conversation too, like, there's been so many times that I've wanted to do something and then haven't done it. And then I would like literally beat myself up about it, and I'd feel shitty. And then it would stop me from doing more, because I'd be like, well, I haven't done anything anyway. Well, then what's the point? I think during this process, there were weekends that I didn't do anything, and I take absolute ownership of that. And it's my choice, and I own that choice. But then it's not about then blaming yourself for that weekend that you didn't write, or that one night that you decided to watch Netflix and have an ice cream instead. You know what? It's a new day, clean the slate. You can still knock out 1,000 words if you choose to. And going back to my previous statement. Yeah. And there were moments I was behind in my head and possibly in the days, but that's okay too, because if you just stick to it and make those small things every day, you will get there. You will get there. I'm there.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if it was completely honest and went back through all the steps, there were days I didn't do this program.
Yeah.
But I still got it done.
And so, it's interesting, because I feel like even though you kind of made the decision, I feel like you had a lot of doubt at the start still. You were still like, there was a lot of self-doubt of if you would actually be able, or even if you would let yourself to do it. And it was interesting. It's been really interesting watching you grow through that. And because every mentoring session, it was just like one more leap. It was one more, you know, the next level type thing. So it's been an amazing journey to watch. And I always knew that you would get it done though. That's the thing. And it's funny, because I have so much faith in all of you guys that come through. I know. And it's not that, I want to be really clear on this. It's not like anyone can do it. But I know that the people that I've spoken to that have gone into it, I know that they can do it if they work on the mindset.
And it's funny you should say that. Like, as much as I had so much doubt, I don't know, there was always just a little part of me that knew it would get done.
And that was trusting in the process, and also seeing like people like David that had come before and done it.
Yeah, there's always that little part of me that knew I would have a book at the end, even though I was like fighting up against it.
Yeah.
I always knew that it would be there if I just let it happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
And I cannot wait to get a copy of it. Yeah. And then I can add it to my pile, which I don't have here. It's out in the lounge room. Oh, damn. So, David, I don't have your book. Otherwise, I could flash it up. It's out in the other room. So I cannot wait to add that to my delicious pile of all the books that have been done through.
And look, it still may not be any good. And it may like, and that's like, and that, you know what? That's okay. That is okay. That is okay. Yeah. That it may be like, I make jokes to my friends like, how's your book going? I'm like, yeah, it might be a piece of shit, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
David's laughing his ass off because he said pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Yes. I keep saying it's a dog's breakfast, and really you're going to read it and probably put your coffee cup back on top of it. But you know what?
I'm going to remind you of reading one of your chapters and having transformational moments in front of you, reading that chapter.
But, you know, see, that's the mindset, isn't it? And that's the doubt that still just creeps in, going, really? Is it any good? And that's that, you know, that need for significance.
The only book, literally the only book that's not good and that nobody will ever enjoy is the book that was ever written. That's it.
True.
I'm going to say, it could be a little controversial. 50 Shades of Grey. It is so bad from a writing perspective.
Yes.
From an authoring perspective, it is so bad. But I tell you what, boy, did she make a crap load of money and sell a crap load of books because people enjoyed the story. Like that's Twilight, true. Same thing. The writing from that perspective, it's not great.
No.
But
true.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. True. And I actually have another book here that is I can't remember his name. He's written a lot of books, like Number One, but the writing technically is really shocking. It's so bad, and it breaks a lot of the rules that are there.
Yeah.
And I say learn the rules to break the rules. This is one of the things I always say. But it breaks a lot of the rules that are there to actually just make things readable. However, the point still comes across, and it's still fantastic, and he's still sold God knows how many copies.
Mm. Yeah.
And rock on.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you're writing it for that one person. We know who that person is.
Yes.
We know who that one person who's getting the book, whose life will change. That's who you're writing it for, and they will have that experience.
And I think furthermore to that too, it comes down to mindset too, is remembering who you're writing it for. Yeah. And I think I think myself, I can speak definitely for myself. I got so caught up, and I still get caught up at times. Yeah. You know, who am I writing this for, and who's actually going to judge me? And like my reader,
that's a big one.
My core reader is not going to judge me. They're going to love it. Exactly. The only people that are going to judge me, no one's really going to judge me. It's my perception of being judged. It's not even real.
So well said.
It's not even real. Really not even real. And you know what? If people are going to read my book and go, Vanessa, you know what? That was pretty shit. Then are they my friends? Are they even?
And here's a question. Oh, how many books have you written?
Exactly. Sorry, where's your copy of your book? Like, did you just spend 90 days writing? No, I don't think so.
That's it.
Come back to me when you've written a book, and then we'll compare notes. Like, really?
Yeah, come back when you're one of the 0.6%.
That's ego, though. That's like total ego.
I know, but you know what? You're now an author. You can have a little bit. It's okay. Just a little, as long as it's and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think a lot of people give ego a bad rap. Ego's useful. Ego can be useful. It's just how you interact and connect with it that don't be a dick.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not talking to anybody anymore. I'm an author. No.
I'm a writer.
Yeah, no.
I love it.
Yeah,
so is there anything else that let me just actually see. We've got it. Deb says, congratulations, Vanessa. She's had to run. That's fine. Deb can catch the recording. Yeah. So, yes, is there anything else that you would like to share? If anyone has any questions, again, pop them in the chat. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the guys that are on, and also those that might actually watch this recording as well?
I forgot that we were being recorded.
I just checked it. Yeah, no, it is.
It's still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. I think just embrace it. And I know that's really difficult, because if someone said that to me 72 days ago, I'd be like, what the are you smoking? No, just
but you did.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah. Just enjoy it and just embrace it and trust the process, trust yourself. And super excited for the book launch, and just super excited to get the baby out there. Even if it's not perfect, it's okay. It could be an ugly child.
Out of its forehead, it's fine. You'll still love it.
No one says your baby's ugly, so it's fine.
Oh my God! You know what? That's actually a really, really great analogy right there.
Oh, the bride at a wedding. No one says the bride doesn't look good in the dress. They all say the bride looks beautiful in the day. So no one's going to say my baby's ugly.
That's it. And that's why you've got editors as well. You've got editors to clean up the structure and the writing aspect. All you need to do is get the message through, and that's what you've done. And you've done, from what I've read, because I haven't read the whole thing, but from what I have read, you've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah. No, we should be fine.
Come on. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a writer. Screw you all. No. I'm kidding.
That was the best. I need to quote that. I'm a writer. Screw you all. I'm putting your name on it as a quote.
I could put that at the bottom of the book blurby thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic because it's me first. I'm an author. Screw you all.
Exactly right.
I actually think you should. That'd be hilarious.
I am. I'm blushing. That's fine.
Oh my goodness. Grace has had to run. Yes, I did know that. So all good. Thank you, Grace. Excellent. So if you have nothing else,
pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay. Because what I might do, because I've got the amazing David here who went through the program last year, he might be able to share some gold for you coming up to that final stage. And also for other people that are still a bit. So I'm going to bring David on for. We'll make it really quick, David, because we've had lots of conversations, and most of them are available on the website. So we'll have a bit of a quick conversation, and then I'm going to do a bit of a screen share for everyone to show them around the online resources as well. So thank you so much, Vanessa. You're an absolute legend. Cannot wait to read your book, and cannot wait to have our next session because I'm sure we will. Yes, actually, probably in the next couple of weeks with the publishing process. Cool. Thank you. All right.
Love it.
David, hello, gorgeous man. How are you?
Great, thank you. Sorry, apologies for being late. I just walked in the door and put it straight on. But and thanks for sharing, Vanessa. I caught the end of your journey, and congratulations. It's you know, the worst of it's behind you, believe it or not, because the worst of it is actually starting. And you sound like you've got an awesome mindset, and I'm looking forward to meeting you at the launch and seeing your book.
Yeah. Yes, because David's actually going to be there with his book as well. So you'll both be at the launch. I'll be here. Amazeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very cool. So thank you for jumping on again. I always yeah.
I'm always happy to chat, especially when I got one of these in my hand. It's all good.
Do you have a copy of your book there by any chance? Because like I said,
well, I did just walk in the door, but luckily I have a laptop and I can move if you pardon me.
Excellent. Yes, because I definitely want you to flash a copy of your book.
I've literally just moved house last week, as you know.
Yeah.
But luckily, I know where the book is.
Yes, there we go. So that's your book that was done last year was it September we finished up? So it was July.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the launch was, yes, we finished. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys had it. Wow, you guys really got put through your paces because you had the launch on day 90. So you actually had the book launch within the 90 days, and Vanessa probably just crapped herself.
Well, we actually, so it was far less than 90 days to, I guess, produce it from our end because, as you know, the last kind of really 10 days was out of our hands because it's off to the printers. And
that was me actually pulling my hair out. It's surprising I'm not bald. And exactly the reason we don't do it anymore. I learned a big lesson in that one. Don't do that.
Well, look, it was a great experience even on the fly, and as stressful as it was, because at the end of the day, I've got this.
Exactly. So let me ask you about your mindset. So I'm going to ask you kind of two questions if you can remember back this far. I know you're old like me, so the memory might be fading.
Thanks for saying that. That's great.
I love you. You know that. So firstly, what was your mindset coming into this, like coming into the actual process? What was I guess what was the thing in your mindset that allowed you to say yes to doing this? Because I remember one of the first things you said to me is that I can't write. So what shifted in your mindset to even start?
I think I'd not long started my coaching journey as well, but as I was on a personal journey as it was, and I think I just had a gutful of making excuses for myself why I couldn't do it, because as you just said, you know, I was convinced that I couldn't write because that's what teachers told me at school. I mean, as you know, I'm a performer. That's all I've done all my life is perform. I've interpreted other people's words and other people's songs, but never written anything myself until this moment. And I think I literally was scarred from school, from just having, you know, and that may just be even as simple as the teacher who was reading my stuff not relating to it or not, not understanding where I was coming from at the time. But it didn't matter. All I had to know was that I essentially failed. So it just stuck with me, and I think that's, again, as you know, we know each other quite well. I'd had this perfectionist side of me that I've been working on over time, and I think that was with me as a kid as well. So consequently, as a perfectionist, you're told you're crap at something, you steer well clear of it, because you don't do things that you're not good at.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, and as you know, I had a message that I wanted to share. I'd been working on many different formats of sharing this message, never really considering a book. I might have done it in passing, so that'd be a really good way of getting the message out there. But again, thinking, well, I can't do that. And then I had that all important conversation with you, and I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I can do this. So I was the French, everyone. If not,
I'm pretty sure I've dropped the F-bomb already. You're fine.
Actually, not the fuck's a French word, I don't think. But
say croissant.
Yeah. I think the mindset came that I could do it after I committed to doing it, if that makes sense. So I said yes out of necessity. And it literally was, and I don't think I thought of this consciously at the time, but it literally was say yes and work out how.
Yeah, yeah.
It was literally that.
Which is funny, because I've just written a book called Say No and Be Okay With It.
Exactly, yeah. which is equally true.
Yeah, it is.
Because
and that's what I find about the mindset with writing a book too. Is I had someone. I sent out a few messages yesterday to people, letting them know, people that applied actually way back when you did, and for whatever reason didn't go into the program at the time. I reached out to them all yesterday and said, "Oh, hey, I've got this what I'm doing now. I've got this program, blah blah blah." And I had one person came back and said, "Oh, thanks, that's so awesome. I've decided that it's not the right time for me to do that." And I wrote back and said, "You're a damn rock star. You're a rock star, because you said," she knows her values. She knows where she's at. And she said no, knowing why she was saying no, instead of some other people. And if anyone watches this, it's cool, man, except just take it on board.
It comes back to what Vanessa was just saying too. It's owning your decisions and
exactly.
owning everything that you do. And if
not making excuses. You don't have to.
That's exactly right. If you're saying no for a valid reason, that's absolutely correct. It's on that title of your book. One of Richard Branson's things, and Warren Buffett and a lot of the successful entrepreneurs, their philosophy is being successful while saying yes and working out how is a massive part of it. It all comes from saying no to the right, because you can't, as human beings, we can't do everything. We can't make the most of every opportunity, particularly the more successful you get, the more opportunities come your way. You have to pick and choose your opportunities. So you find that I think successful people will say no far more than they say yes.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. That's I think I remember seeing something from Elon Musk around that as well. That he says no to so many things, and he says yes and complete. When he says yes, it's got his focus.
Yeah. And I think, that is saying no for a valid reason. It's not saying no, making an excuse or saying no because you're doubting yourself or.
I think we've learnt to make excuses for when we say no.
Oh,
we've been taught that if you don't do this thing that makes me happy, you better explain why.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's and unfortunately, it's not really getting any better. Us living in this society of getting, a medal for turning up, there's no first place. And it's like, fuck off. Life is not like that, And I'm probably getting off topic now, but that's, but it
is valid, because I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that exact thing yesterday, I think it might've been actually. And I was thinking about participation awards. So you've got that thing of this person's first and blah, blah, blah. But I also thought about the fact that I was rejected the first time I applied for uni to do a writing degree, because I answered the question that they asked, not the question that they wanted. And so I was rejected. That could have, in the moment, stopped me from doing everything that I've done now. That could have, if I'd chosen to, that could have stopped me. So I wonder if participation awards are a little bit like, here's an award for participating, but everyone gets it. So you're not special at anything.
Well, and I wonder if that's, you know, relating to your topic tonight on mindset. You know, you that is going to affect people's abilities to make decisions or to even know what their mindset is, because it's like whatever you do, right or wrong, good or bad, is okay.
Exactly.
But it's like you're not having to be accountable for your own thoughts. Like you're not having to be accountable for saying no or for saying yes or for making excuses. It's like, you know, the whole, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I would much prefer to have someone say, no, I'm good, I don't need to write a book.
Yeah,
rock on.
absolutely.
Rather than say, I want to write a book, but this, but that, but this, but that, but that. I'm like, go sort your shit out and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
It's okay to not want to do something. In fact, it's actually really, really great to not want to do something, because in knowing what you don't want to do, that's when you know what you do want to do, and that's what you should be doing. I think so many people lose track of what their inner being, like them what their I amness should be doing, their purpose.
Absolutely. And I can totally relate to that as a reformed people pleaser.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that, because I would constantly say yes to do things because, you know, and Vanessa, I briefly heard the title of your book, something to do about putting yourself first, and that's why I'm interested in reading it, because I have only really recently started doing that, you know, because I was so much of a people pleaser that.
So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in really quickly, because I know you kind of were speaking to Vanessa a little bit. She's got to run and put her baby to bed, so I'm going to let her run. But Vanessa, catch this recording, and David, keeps speaking to her.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's like to the point where I cared far more about other people's well-being and thoughts and emotions that I did for myself, that affected me and my mindset in so many ways, in the fact that I didn't know. I didn't know what I believed. I didn't know what my values were. I didn't know, because I was so busy focusing on everyone else. I literally, I think if I look back and I'm honest with myself, became a product of whoever I was around at the time, because that person mattered more than me.
Yeah.
I'm having revelations as I speak to you right now. Sorry, this is something I've
No,
never...
same.
Yeah.
I've got a coaching session in an hour, and I'm like, you're bringing stuff up.
Yes, it's a bit of an epiphany moment. I'm going to have to go back and watch the recording.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you know. It's like we let so many things in life take us off our path of what we're good at, and you know, your term, which I love, our genius zone. You know, and it's your genius zone, I think, can be expanded if you allow yourself.
Oh, I think that we actually have quite a few genius zones too. It's just a matter of noticing them. And I've had some conversations around this in the last few days with some really awesome people. And for me, I really think the genius zone is where you've absorbed so much information. You just have no filters. So there's nothing being deleted. There's nothing stopping information from coming through. But because of that, you don't actually necessarily realize that that's anything special, because you think that everybody else is as well.
Absolutely.
But it's actually not that way. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of their genius zone, because I often hear people say, oh, I don't know what I really want to do. I don't really know my purpose. And to me, it's kind of like it's probably so there and so obvious that you just don't see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which again was part of the mindset with me getting around writing this book. Yeah. It was the fact that I thought, does my message matter? Like, because to me,
I hear that a lot. Yeah.
Everyone knew in my mind, my niche market knows everything that's in here.
Yeah,
because I do.
Yeah,
but you know, I'm years ahead of my market. So but like, yeah, you just said it perfectly. Like because you're in your genius zone, and it comes naturally to you, and you don't know everything, but you absorb knowledge so much quicker and easier when it's related to your genius zone without even knowing. that you just assume that's what everyone does. Like I assume that all
Mm.
performers can pretty much do what I do. You know, it's not till you start, and maybe you've had a similar situation. I don't think it's till you start teaching and coaching that you realize that you actually do realize that.
I'll give you one really, really basic example from my point of view, from my experience, is the difference between publishing and printing.
Mm-hmm.
I have discovered that not many people know the difference.
Okay.
Like I thought that was so obvious. I thought everyone knew that. I thought, yeah, publishing and printing, I thought it was a very clear distinction. But literally 95% of people I speak to don't know what that difference is. And I need to explain it. I didn't know that other people didn't know that.
Totally relate. Yeah, that makes total sense. Again, because that's something in your genius zone that you are constantly absorbing knowledge about it, constantly growing because you thrive on it. And again, you just assume that we all, we're all humble in our own way, thinking we're not the smartest person in the world. So I'm sure everyone knows all
Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't. They don't.
And I think that's a good take home for anyone watching this that's writing their book and concerned about their message, that
or not yet.
yeah, exactly. Or not yet. If you've got a message and you're worried about, if you think you've got a message and you're worried that it's not, there are 7 billion people in the world. You know, there is going to be a market for your message regardless. You know, you don't, it's like as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur writing a book for entrepreneurs, you're not going to market your book to Richard Branson and Tony Robbins. You're going to be marketing it to people starting out. And that was my philosophy behind writing the Performance Manifesto. It's about teaching performers the business of show business, teaching performers how to be entrepreneurs and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not marketing it to people that are, successful out there doing it. I'm marketing it to newcomers that, and teaching them that I wish I knew when I was starting out. So there is a market regardless of what you think.
Absolutely. God, yeah. And to take that to another level too, and I know this is something you're considering doing, and this is the longest 5 minutes in the history of ever.
We're good at that, aren't we, when we start talking?
I know, but we have awesome conversations. So for example, when you've done this one book, then I'll give you kind of a metaphor and then I'll come back to your book. So I used this metaphor on the Elite 10 the other night. So if you imagine a beach, just one beach, and that's everything that there is possibly to know about, let's use your genius zone performance, right? The whole beach is everything you possibly know. Realistically, most people know 1 or 2 grains of sand, a handful, but there's all that beach that there's still so much that you can learn about. So much compared to so many people, but the other person that knows a lot about it knows this lot of sand. So you have your lot, they might have a couple of grains the same, but only you have that exact grain, that exact bulk of sand. And there's so much to know. And so many people think that they're little 2 grains of sand, that's kind of all there is to it.
All there is to know. And everyone knows those 2 grains of sand. And if you don't, why don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And so when you realize that this...
if you don't know my speck of beach, why don't you?
Yeah. But how can you when you think about it? And that's just performance. Then you've got every other beach. You've got the writing beach, which is where mine, I've got my bulk of sand. But then if you look at your book, so your first book that you've done is really targeted to those people that have maybe 1 or 2 grains. Then you'll do another book which goes deeper, that is targeted to those people that have picked up an extra grain or 2. And then
absolutely,
another book goes deeper.
Yeah. And in that respect, it's traveling with your audience too. It's like, you don't give everyone, you can't give everyone all the information at once because it's just overwhelming and it's too much. So you start with the basics and you progress. I mean,
you can't give someone that is just starting 20 years of information in one hit and think that that's going to be healthy.
I can't do that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it makes people think that they can't do it. It's like, give them the tools that they can use and implement straight away to get to the next step.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And I just want to comment on Belinda's comment there saying,
yes, thank you.
Because shows up at 3 a.m. I'm exactly the same. As Karen knows, I'm a night owl. So I'm actually just starting to wake up.
Vampire. Yeah, no, I get that. My genius zone shows up in my dreams and does stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally relate.
Awesome. So, okay, we've had epic conversation that's gone way longer than it was supposed to.
Thank you
Is
for
there
bearing with me.
anything else? Oh, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share? Like, actually, I do have one question.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest change in your mindset over the journey? So we talked about at the start, but what about from the start to the end of the journey?
Over the journey, because obviously the people that are on the journey now with you will understand that there's ebbs and troughs and it's a roller coaster ride.
Like life.
And that you stick with it like life. But coming out the other end, that sense of achievement that, again, to go back to what Vanessa was saying, she's worried about it not being perfect, or not worried about it, but she's accepting the fact that it may not be perfect. Perfect. Coming from someone that's working on their perfectionism, it doesn't matter. You know, this is a snapshot in time, as you told me.
Yeah, exactly right.
When I started on it, and as you know, I'm working on the second edition. It's the second edition that I'm hoping to have ready for the launch, which just fills in a few of the gaps. It's not trying to fix imperfections. It's really just it's on feedback and just filling in some gaps, fattening out a little bit, and you know, I'm
which is standard what everyone does with nonfiction works.
Absolutely, yeah. So my message would be to just stick with it. If you are doing it and you're finding yourself in that moment now where you're concerned that, you know, do I have a message? Is this shit? Is it just me? Is it just me that thinks that? No, there are people out there.
What about Giselle? How I overcame the fear of driving. She thought it was just her, and now she's made a whole business out of it.
Absolutely. So, you know, stick with it. And for those that are not sure or think that maybe you've got a message but you don't know how to put it into a book, trust Karen's system. And I'm not meaning this as a sales pitch for you. I'm just literally saying, yeah. No, I'm literally saying that you know, the system you have works, and that's coming from someone that at the start of the 90 days completely doubted myself but knew I had to do it. For me, it was do or die. You know, I knew that this was the next evolution in my message, so I had to do it. So the only way for me to do that was to trust in your guidance and your system, and it was that got me through it. You know, got me out the other end. Anyone wanting to do it, and anyone watching this at any point in time, whether it's now or on a recording, you're obviously considering it. Just fucking do it. You know, if you're considering it, it means you've got something to say, you know, and if you've got something to say, there is a market for people that are ready to receive what you say.
Yeah, 100%.
I hope that answered the question.
Better than I expected. And I just on touching on the process as well. So as you know, I with the 90-day challenges, I write a book alongside you guys as well. Yeah. So just by having the process to follow, I personally have done 6 books over the last 6 months. Over the last 12 months. That's crazy. Even I, before I had this program, wouldn't have thought that I could do that. That's my mindset. Yeah, absolutely. And that was inspirational as well, because it was a case of, you know, you were doing that with the rest of us. So it was the other good thing is, you know, my own writer problems along with you guys as well.
Absolutely, you know, and so you're also part of the community, and that's another important factor. You know, doing it this way is you've got a community of people going through the journey with you that are going through the same struggles. You know, you might not be at the highs and lows at the same time, but you're there to remind each other and pick each other up. It's not happening, which is great, you know. And at the end of the day, we had how many of us? Half a dozen of us have a book printed on day 90, which
is just incredible.
Yeah,
amazing. So I look
printed / published, because it's the same thing, isn't it?
No. But yeah, no, I look back at that 90 days and the fact that we actually had the launch on day 90, and I am in awe of you guys, like seriously, and in awe of myself for pulling that off, and also very appreciative of myself of not doing that again.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's one thing for one of us, for say me to do that, but you're coordinating 6 other people as well as yourself to do that. So you're essentially, you're writing off a lot more than just 10 days at the end.
Yeah. No, it was a little bit crazy. It was a little bit hectic. But so now though we have about a 6-week window from the
Which I
end
think
to
is great.
the launch. Yeah,
Perfect. Because you've still got it written in 90 days, which is a massive achievement.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're a published author in no time.
That's it. And now we've also got which I'll actually do some screen sharing of in just a moment, when this 5 minutes that's now gone for 20 finishes.
I apologize.
No. Like, seriously, this has been valuable. I know that people on here, like we've got Belinda, Christy, I don't know who else is on. Hey, Belinda. This has been valuable for them, and it's going to be valuable for the people that watch it as well. So this is valuable stuff. So you good, rock on. So I was going to say, we've also now got the online resources, the online program. So when you did it, I was creating the program kind of a week ahead as we were doing it, because you were in the first group.
Yeah.
And so you guys had very limited amount of direction, information. You had mentoring, but it was very limited in the resources that you had. Whereas now we've got the 12-month online program.
Absolutely.
So for people that want to do it over a bit of a longer time, and they've got all seven training videos for every section of Scrolls. Yeah. Bonus trainings, templates. I don't know if you've had a chance to go and have a look at it.
I was going to say, which again is very helpful, because I'm referring to that as I do my second edition, because you've got to fill in the gaps. You can't just fill them in willy-nilly. You've still got to follow the same formula and process so that it all links up. So having those resources to then refer to again and again as you need it. And again, I've looked at them when I've done blog posts and things like that as well, you know, when I've kind of had some around that sort of thing, you know, again, it's like you've got this message, follow those steps and just condense it into a blog post size thing. It works as well.
I've just, I don't know if you've, probably wouldn't have tried this yet, but I'll share this with you. I've literally just created a 6-month content strategy using the 7 steps. So I've now done a whole, like using the 25 book ideas, which is available on the website, using that to actually work out the content I'm going to put in. I've created an entire content plan for all of my social media. So now you'll see actual regular things going up on all the different social media things and shares. And it's all mapped out for the next 6 months. I know everything that's going up for the next 6 months, and I can pre-post. And again, it was all using the 7 steps of,
which is valuable.
So I love my program.
Absolutely. And half the battle with doing these things like regular blog posts is being consistent with fresh content. So using that formula to formulate your content is genius. Yeah.
So it's interesting. So I use that to do the content. Then I'm going that because I've got Scrolls written over here. Sure. So I use Scrolls to do the content plan, which I may turn into a program depending on how we go.
I think you should actually. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of people show a bit of interest in it. So, and then I use Scrolls to write the content within the content plan. So to write the blogs, to write the posts, to write all the things that I put up. So I actually use it for everything. I use it for all my trainings. I use it for, I just did the Elite 10 program. I was using it to manage all of that. So it's not just about books. Everything that I write, I put through the 7-step process. And I know that a lot of people out there are doing the same thing. So it's kind of awesome. I love it. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a screen share and do a bit of a walkthrough of the online resources. Are you going to stick around, or do you need to run?
I'm going to do a bit of both. I'm going to listen and watch bits and pieces as we go, if that's all right.
Sweet. I like that idea. You do that. So I'll screen share that in a moment. So thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
Longest 5 minutes. That's
exactly. Fine. I'll get you back on my podcast. Don't worry.
Anytime. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your mindset journey, and can't wait to see you in November.
Cool. We'll see you soon.
All right. Mwah. All right. So stick with us, guys. We're going to do a screen share over on to have a look a bit of the online resources. So at this point, if you have no interest, like just going back to what we said about mindset, if you have no interest in writing your book, if you have no interest in learning the steps to write anything, blogs, blah, 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 you feel free to leave now, like you rock on, yeah? Because this is now taking you into the processes and the online resources that are available for you through the 12-month online program. And you also have access to these if you're to do the 90-day program as well. So I want to give you a bit of an indication and insight what's in here. Now, David, I don't know if you've seen the updated versions because I've been making some changes to this. So if you've seen it before, you might have just seen the modules. Now we've got this really cool thing where, and this is still in process, we're fixing this up at the moment to get it all aligned so that we have a page for each. Everything for spine is now in one page. We've got all the training modules, we've got all our templates. This includes things like the 25 book ideas that I mentioned before, ABCD mindset, a couple of bonus ones as well. You've got your checklist, so you can actually check that you're doing all the bits and pieces and all the steps. And you've got a program workbook as well to manage that. And then we have a whole heap of bonus resources there, including a bonus mentoring, which might have been, is that your group? No, that might have been from the second group. And a couple of bonus trainings all around mindset. So spine is all about mindset. And this, I will continue to add resources and bonus resources in here. So this video that I'm making right now will actually go into the bonus resources in here in spine as well. Okay, so this is just spine. We then have all the other sections. So you've got construct, red carpet, action, WTF, loud and proud, and success. Those are the 7 steps of the program. And the way it works is to avoid overwhelm, you have access to spine. When you go through your resources and you fill out your workbook, you'll then go over to this little check-in page that we have here. And on the check-in page, you will tick off that you've done everything. When you submit that, this will take a moment to come up. When you submit that, then you will get access to the next stage, which is construct. So to show you the spine check-in completion page, so you pop in your details there, you pop in your key learnings from the modules, which is not required. However, I do, if you can do those, it's going to enhance your learning. And then when you go down a little bit further, you've got your checklist. So you just say, yes, I've done this, done this, done this. And once you've ticked off all of these to say you've completed everything and hit submit, and then within 48 hours, you have access to the next section, which is construct. So we do it that way, one section at a time for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to avoid overwhelm. Instead of giving you access to everything, because if you had access to everything, you would have access for everything up to right through to publication. And the temptation to jump forward can definitely provide you a nice little window into overwhelm, and we don't want to do that. The other reason that we do it this way as well is so that you do stay on track with the steps. Because the way that this particular program, the Scrawls methodology works, is each step links into the next step. So just with the 90-day challenge, we have 90 challenges. We do literally a challenge every day. If you miss one of those challenges, then you may actually not be able to align with a later challenge. So what I say in the 90-day challenge is do each step at a time. If you miss a day, it's cool. That's cool. But go back and do that step before you move on to the next day. So always still do it in order, never skip a day. And it's the same thing with the online program as well. So just taking you back into, let's just go back up here. Take you back to the home page quickly. So when you join up to any of the programs, this page, Spine, is the first page that you would have access to, and you can access all of the bonus resources, templates, etc. in there. When you get to the next stage, Construct, that's when you actually get templates for your book. So you actually have the structure of your book. You have the amazing thing that we call the beat sheet, which allows you to manage your time and the word count that you're doing. We have a word count counter, all kinds of awesome, amazing stuff. And then on the front page, if you have a look here, you'll see some pictures of some guys that have gone through the program, some people that have published in our magazine, some workshops I've done. And you can also go down here and see some author interviews. And here's David. So we've got 3 great author interviews there. I've also done one with Zoe, had a few gremlins around that, but hopefully I'll get that up soon. And also looking to have a couple more from the last group and the current group up there really soon as well. So here's your next step. Let me go back up here. All right. So your next step, should you be ready to get out of your own way and write a book or learn how to write content or blogs or anything like that. If you want these 7 steps to write anything, like I said, I use it for my workshops. I use it for the Facebook Lives that I do. I use it for everything where I'm delivering content. So if you want access to that, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. One is to get on board with the online 12-month program, the Right Now program. And to do that, it's easy. Go to imacademy.com.au and just click on Right Now programs and it will bring it up. You can see underneath that you've got other links there to 90-day challenge, so you can check those out as well. But right now, I just want to speak to you about the 12-month online program. Okay, now there's 2 ways to get involved with it. You can purchase 12 months up front for $997, which is just ridiculous for everything that you get. Or if you can't do that up front, we now have this amazing option, $97 a month. You get access to Spine. Once you finish Spine, you get access to Construct. Once you finish that, you get access to Recover, and you just work your way through the steps. So, which is pretty epically awesome. Now, what I want to do though, because I know that some of you want some more information, or you're going to want to talk to me about the 90-day challenge, or you're going to want to talk to me about mentoring. So this is what I'm going to do. I don't usually work on Fridays or Saturdays, but I freed up some space both tomorrow and Saturday to have some conversations to walk you through the options, to have a chat with you around your mindset and walk with you through the possibilities and what is going to best suit you. Because for some people, the online 12-month program is perfect. For some people, you need the accountability and the ass kicking of the 90-day challenge. And for some of you, you need that upper level, you need mentoring, you need the one-on-one, you need to actually have those conversations. So I've got 5, let me actually just turn off this screen share so I can, there we go. So I've got 5 spots available. So I want you to pop in, I'm in. So if we're on this live now, which I can see everyone on here is already part of the program, so you're good. So anyone who's watching this in the recording, I'm going to pop this on Facebook hopefully tonight. If you're watching this in the recording, put in I'm in. 5 people I'm going to offer spots to over the next couple of days. I'm going to close this off at 5 p.m. on Saturday. So make sure you say I'm in before 5 p.m. Saturday. I'm not doing any more than 5 spots because I just don't have time to, and we'll have a conversation. If you're ready to go and jump online and do the 12-month program, then rock on, just go do that. But if you want to have a conversation, particularly around 90-day challenge, mentoring, or to find out more and to really have a conversation about what suits you. So this is a mindset conversation, okay? So if you want to have a mindset conversation, pop I'm in and I will, I'll get back to you. We'll have a chat, we'll work out a time and we'll have a bit of a chat around that. So I trust that tonight has been really useful, particularly around the mindset of writing. Thank you again to Vanessa and David for having conversations, for jumping on and sharing with us your mindset at the start, your mindset change as you went through the program and your growth. And really great to have you guys on board. And for everyone else that joined me, thank you so much. I'm going to head off now because I do have a coaching call. I'm going to work on my mindset. So until next time, again, thank you so much. And remember, pop in, I'm in, first 5, okay? So until next time, Rock forth with awesomeness.